anyone that's out there looking to rob us, hurt us, kill us, beware, you may be walking into the wrong bodega, because now we have the same firepower you have.
Hundreds of bodega owners in New York City are now legal gun owners. This was nearly a 2-year process, and the United Bodegas of America says it took this long because they wanted to do it safely, legally, and secretly. And the knowledge of which bodega owners carrying a concealed gun will be kept a secret.
You don't want anyone to shoot you before they rob you because they know you have a weapon.
The announcement was made at the UBA headquarters in Inwood, where the courses are held by duly authorized instructors like Johnny Nunez. He's a retired NYPD sergeant and former police academy instructor.
Having a firearm is a defensive tool. It's a defensive tool. It's not an offensive tool to be used when your life or the life of another human being is, and keywords, imminent danger.
The group says its only intended use is to prevent themselves or someone in their store from getting killed. In 2015, Junior Guzman Feliz, the 15-year-old boy who was brutally murdered in the Bronx, sought shelter in a bodega before he was dragged out and killed. Last summer, Jose Alba was working behind the counter of a Harlem bodega when this person aggressively shoved him. Alba fatally stabbed the man in self-defense.
They're not out here to provoke any incidents. We are trained to de-escalate situations, but we are also trained to use a firearm if we have to.
Under the circumstances, your privileges are reinstated immediately. What do you need?
Guns. Lots of guns.
Well, here we go. If you know that we've had high crime in here, especially in smoke shops and bodega owners, they've had major issues. This was happening quietly. And finally, we're starting to hear what bodega owners are going to do now. And you'll be shocked to hear that if you happen to be a criminal in New York, plan to go to a bodega to hold it up with a gun or a knife or anything, don't be shocked if that bodega owner fires back, because a bunch of bodega owners are now armed legally in New York City.
Good afternoon.
And we're hearing this from the United Bodega, the group United Bodega Owners of America, and they basically been helping to push this. And according to the New York Post, we're going to read this on here. New York City bodega owners, grocers arming themselves with guns amid violent thefts plaguing the Big Apple. Their stock locked and loaded. Hundreds of Big Apple supermarket and bodega owners are arming themselves as the epidemic of violent theft continues to plague their businesses. Over the past year, the United Bodegas of America and the Bodega and Small Business Group said they've had helped at least 230 store owners apply for their gun licenses. Connecting them with concealed carry classes required the state to obtain the permit. Now, think about that for a minute. They have helped them to learn to use their weapon properly and to get the permit properly, legally. The National Supermarket Association, which represents roughly 600 independent grocers, estimated a quarter of its members in the city are packing heat compared to the 10% pre-pandemic. You see the necessity because the city is getting out of hand with the crime rate, said one supermarket owner who purchased a 9mm six-saw handgun 2 months ago after thieves cut a hole in his roof of his Ridgewood, Queens store to steal at least $3,000 and smash up the registers and camera system. The gun-toting grocer said he hasn't had to use his firearm, but practices once a week for the worst-case scenario where he needs to defend himself and his staff. I don't know who's coming in, what I'll confront on my way in or on my way out, he said. I'm sorry if I mispronounce this, Rahimes Rodriguez, who owns several bodegas in the Bronx, said he purchased a 9mm Smith & Wesson pistol after obtaining his concealed carry license 2 months ago. Yeah, and remember, this is what New York State didn't want you to do. They were trying to push to stop this, but due to Supreme Court reversals to the situation, you're hearing that these guys are able to get these things legally. If I see someone coming to me and I'm going to lose my life because someone's got a gun aimed at me, a knife, I need to protect myself and my family, said Rodriguez, 60, who is also a UBA president. Rodriguez said he previously had premises gun permits to protect his business during the crime-ridden 80s, but as the city cleaned up under the Giuliani and Bloomberg administrations, he let the license lapse. Remember that and it's mostly more toward Giuliani. Remember that period. As much as people criticized Giuliani, New York got cleaned up. Crime was reduced at this point. Now it's back up again. With the recent waves of violence, it's starting to look like the 80s and 90s. He said, that's why I applied for a new gun license, and that's why I have it. Many grocers have felt an increased need to arm themselves because of these slower policy responses to their emergency calls, according to the retired NYPD Sergeant Johnny Nunez, who leads 18-hour courses covering gun safety and live firearms training that are required by the New York State, for obtaining a concealed carry permit. They recognize that there are less cops on the street that are attending all these rallies, and they have to defend themselves, says Nunez, whose classes have been attended by many bodega supermarket owners. Those factors and the fact came that crime is up. That's what's driven them to least feel protected, he added. The surge in gun-toting grocers followed the Supreme Court's landmark decision last year to strike down New York State's century-old law, which severely restricted who can carry guns in public by requiring applicants to show proper cause for needing weapons beyond general protection. It also follows a jump in shoplifting in recent years, complaints soaring to 54,229 through November 30th versus 37,919 incidents for all of 2019 per NYPD data. The criminals have had the upper hand. They're the ones going out, robbing us, murdering us, getting away with it, UBA spokesman Fernando Mateo told the Post. In March, a beloved Upper East Side bodega clerk was fatally shot during a late-night robbery, while two robbers shot a Spanish Harlem deli clerk in the groin and pistol-whipped a customer in June. In May, 4 men held up a Woodside bodega employee at gunpoint before stealing at least $6,000. If we can fight with the same power, they're going to think twice, Mateo said. A New York NYPD spokesman said the robbery, grand larceny incidents have shrunk 5.2% and 3.1% respectively through November 26 compared to the same time period last year. Robberies and grand larceny arrests have increased by 11% and 18% so far this year compared to the same period in 2022. One thing it doesn't say is how many of them have been re-released back out without no bail. Remember what happened to the gentleman that basically he tried to defend himself from some guy attacking him. He had to stab the guy just to stop him and ended up killing him. But who did they arrest? They arrested the bodega employee. Eventually he was released, and now he's suing New York for wrongful arrest. He was defending himself. You had somebody that was didn't have enough money to pay on there, got up to pay for a bag of chips, got upset, went out, got her boyfriend to come back to beat up the guy. Now, how is that right? How is that right for anyone? No, it wasn't. The guy had to defend himself. He's sitting in the back there, and the guy came around the counter. If you're coming around the counter or over the counter to get at somebody or to steal on there, you're going to get, a face full of lead, to the situation. You know, I don't like people getting killed or any to that situation, but this is what's been happening. This is, you know, New York is out of control on there. The stuff that's going on now, I grew up with, and it's even worse now than it was back from the 70s to the 90s. I have another story coming out. You know, you have a den of drugs in a subway tunnel, you know, in an entrance to the subway station. You know, think about that for a minute. You know, this is where we've gone to. You know, and I'm glad that, you know, there are guys out there that now they're taking courses. And the people, they criticize people and they say, well, they're all buying guns and just willy-nilly shooting. No, these guys are going out, getting trained to use their gun properly. They're going out to target practice on a constant basis. This is what a Second Amendment does. This is what it's supposed to be. You know, they're saying, oh, no, it's going to cause this and that, and it's going to cause a Wild West. We are in the Wild West right now. And there are people that are not armed and getting shot for no reason whatsoever. People can't defend themselves. They say, we got to get rid of all the guns. You get rid of the guns, the criminals are still going to have the guns. And even if they don't have the guns, they're going to use knives. They're going to use axes. You know, ask the United Kingdom what they're going through. There are people out there with grenades. They're out there with axes. They're out there with knives. You know, yes, they're out there with grenades out there. I think it's in the Netherlands. Think about that for a minute. It don't matter if you get rid of the guns. They're going to find something else to use. This will always be a situation. You have to prosecute these criminals to the fullest extent of the law. Stop, you know, with the no bail situation. These people need to be prosecuted properly. And they say, well, it's because of their nature, the way they live. No, there are those out there that don't give a shit. They will always be criminals. Doesn't matter what, you know, how their life is. They just basically grew up to the situation where, you know, it's like a serial killer. You know, they're going to kill no matter what. They don't care. You know, some of them have, you know, mental instability. And they will shoot, stab, firebomb, whatever to get what they want. So comment in the comment lines below. Tell me your thoughts to this situation. I think it's a good thing. You know, you'll feel safer. I mean, out here in Staten Island, we've had shootings of clerks in our stores out here. We've had situations where people have been stabbed. You know, and it goes back for many years now. So tell me in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share. You know, stay strong, question everything, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you for tuning in, and bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. Before you go, please comment, like, and share this video. Also, if you haven't yet, please subscribe as this helps the reach of our channel. Finally, as a content viewer, you have that ability to help support this and many other channels. Especially now more than ever since the passing of a new law in the United Kingdom that will diminish the reach of many channels and affect our advertisers. If you wish to help grow this channel by financial support, you have two ways. There are two links in the description below. The first will send you to a pay site where you can make a monetary donation. The second will send you to our gear store where you can purchase t-shirt, mugs, and other specialty items. Any additional discounts will be listed on the main page. Once again, thank you for watching and your support.